Welcome to Everything Life Coaching with John Kim and Noelle Cordeaux, founders of JRNI Coaching. If you're inspired to begin your own life coaching practice or just want to learn a little bit more about what it's all about, visit jrni.co. That's JRNI.co.
Hey guys, this is a special episode. Noelle and I have been thinking about you guys just with everything that's going on. Noelle is on the East Coast and I am on the West Coast. Noelle, what's going on in Philly as far as what you see around you and the energy and the spirit of people?
Yeah, I don't really know. I have been self-quarantined for about a week so far.
Mm.
I got sick.
Well, I guess then you're just basically practicing self-care and you're working from home obviously and just doing everything you can to take care of yourself, no?
Yeah, I'm working from home. What I'm seeing, out and about or what I'm hearing from my friends is that, our community is really pulling together. Lots of emails have been going around in our
Mhm.
neighborhood asking, does anybody need extra toilet paper? I have some. And folks are coming together to pool resources for laptops for little nuggets who need to learn from home while
Oh, wow.
everybody's kind of
Awesome.
displaced for a little bit. Yeah. So it's been really lovely to see that stuff happening, and, of course, I live right smack in the middle of 2 college campuses, so there was a lot of liveliness, when the schools were shut down. I think everybody kind of got in, like,
Mhm.
their last hurrah, but now it's pretty quiet.
Yeah, and I don't know how long it's gonna go. They say, 2 weeks to a month. I know by just seeing, videos of New York, it just looks like a ghost town, and LA's, I think, right behind New York. We're shutting stuff down, but it hasn't been official yet.
Yeah, and I think things kind of tend to move east to west in that way. We got a good head start in the fear category over here on the East Coast and a lot more conservative, puritanical, so on and so forth. So the lockdowns happened a little bit earlier.
Yeah. So let's give possibly some tips. Let's talk about what is happening in our body and brain and how we can help people manage their way through all this.
Yeah, I think, the first thing to really kind of validate is that we are all universally going through something that is completely historic. We are living through
Mm.
an unprecedented time.
Yeah. Meaning that, I mean, in my lifetime, I haven't experienced anything like this.
No, this is the first pandemic I've ever experienced, that you've ever experienced, the way that, public health is really being centered in this way. A lot of the crises that I've seen in my lifetime have been financial, have been war,
Yeah.
9/11,
Yeah.
but this
Right.
is really the first health-related crisis that we're having as the world is having it altogether.
Yeah. Yeah. And, for me, growing up in LA, I've been around for the Northridge quakes, the riots. That was a really big deal. The fires, the mudslides, and all of that. And this is very different because it's such a slow burn. It's not like one event happened and they're putting a fire out. I mean, they are. I mean, I guess, but it's such a there's more uncertainty and um, the unknown with this, and I think that's what scares people.
Oh yeah, 100%. And so, let's validate feelings. It's okay to feel freaked out. This is real, first of all.
Right, right.
And on top of it, a lot of us aren't feeling great. So, on top
Yeah.
of it, people are sick and tired
Yes.
and freaked out.
Well, and if you're sick or you're sneezing or whatever, then there's also the being more afraid that you're sick.
Yeah, that's
You
absolutely
know?
true. And I've been
Yeah.
hearing other words to describe what people are feeling as well. I've been hearing a lot of people say that they have surrendered.
Mm.
And that's been an interesting word to come out of all of this. And I think it's really reflective of just kind of how our consciousness is turning right now. And that gives me a lot of hope and a lot of excitement.
Yeah. When you say surrender, I don't see a white flag. I actually see power in that. I see a letting go. I see freedom.
Yeah, I see flow. I
Yeah,
see,
flow.
kind of joining. I see community. It's like a river that's running,
Mhm.
and it's a truly beautiful phenomenon to behold. And I think when we're looking at this, one of the things that I ask is, okay, well, how did we get here? And when I say here, what I'm really talking about is a 360-degree walk around. We're stuck in our homes. Some of us aren't feeling well. We're all freaked out. How did we get here? Well, a lot of it has to do with the reality of the world. There's this new virus, it travels quickly. Secondarily, information spreads really fast. Some of it's misinformation, some of it's good information. Um,
Mhm.
and we've all been kind of spinning tops up until this point.
Yeah, absolutely, and on top of that, because we're, quarantined, it creates isolation, and for people, who live alone, for people who, are living away from home, away from, family members, or for people who don't have many friends or going through a transition, that can be very difficult.
It can be very difficult. And, it's so ironic because I rail all the time about how social media keeps us from getting outside and interacting with each other and interacting with nature. And at this exact moment in time, we need to be inside and on social media in order to connect
Right.
with others.
It's our only way to connect, which FaceTime and Skyping and all of that, it's texting, it's the way that we're gonna be able to all kind of hold hands through this.
Oh, yeah. And so, being judicious and thinking about, something that I've been thinking about is how does this make me feel? Am I engaging
Mm,
in social media? Is it raising my anxiety levels? Am I laughing? Am I feeling connected to others? Something that I personally started doing was writing more. I started putting out one message a week. I used to write a lot and then I kind of tapered off, and now
yep.
I'm back. Um, so I'm putting out as many words of hope as I can.
I love that, and also, and I heard this from our very own MC who teaches, trauma in our Journey Intensive. You can't, be in a panic state and be creative at the same time. Like you can't be curious and judgmental, or you can't hate and love. And so when you are doing something like writing, and I'm also making sure that I have creative space for me, it calms me, and you're focusing on something else, and you're not dropping into panic and activating fight or flight because you're doing something creative.
Yeah, and I think this is a really beautiful time for people to get in touch with their creative side, with their maker side. We have space to learn. We have space to create. And if you've been kind of wondering, what do I do with my time? Even before this happened, where do I place my intellect? This is a wonderful opportunity for that kind of introspection.
Mhm. Absolutely. What are some things that people can do? I think writing is great, journaling is great, to kind of create that creative space for themselves. What do you think?
Painting, um,
Yep.
cleaning is actually really creative and cathartic. My little sister was reorganizing her button drawer by size and
Oh,
color.
I love. You know what? When you said reorganizing, I was like, yes, everything that we've been putting off, like reorganizing your bedroom or your closet, or things that you just that get put aside because of life. I think now's the time to do that.
Oh, yeah, and I was delighted to learn that she had a button drawer. Who has
Right.
that? But
Are we talking about buttons on shirts, or like those pins, those buttons that, like, Mork and Mindy buttons?
I
I know I
believe
totally
it's
dated
buttons
myself.
on shirts, and I also think wine might have been involved in the decision to rearrange the button drawer, but, we're gonna go with creativity here.
I think, wine is okay too right now.
Well, that's actually something that I cut out during this time.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
interesting.
and and that's unlike me, but I really just said, I wanna be present. I wanna be
Yeah,
present. I don't wanna numb. I don't want to, isolate in ways that aren't healthy for me, and I don't wanna feel hungover.
yeah. That's great. I love that. I think people are also, because we can't go to gyms and we can't practice yoga and all the things in communities, we're also now forced to create creative ways to move. And so when you mentioned that you're not drinking wine, I think a lot of people are also doing things like intermittent fasting, push ups, sit ups, things at home that they're usually not used to doing, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, and when we're looking at all of this stuff, we have two choices. Thinking about the way that our brains work, there are systems with levers and pulleys. So if we're sitting in anxiety, if we're sitting in fear, we're accessing our memory, we're accessing our past, everything that we know about the world, and that's where we're spinning in the ruminating mind. That's our nervous system. When we're doing
Hmm.
things like treating our bodies like a temple, or moving, or trying new and novel activities, we're accessing entirely different aspects of our brain that give us the components that we need for resiliency.
Right. And this is what's important. We're not just distracting ourselves, but there's a reason why we're doing what we're doing. And I think that's what's going to motivate people to do
Yeah.
like what we're saying.
Yeah, and the key here, guys, is to do things differently, to
Mm.
break your routine, to break your habits, to try things that you've never tried before. Um, I'm gonna try a yoga challenge.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, right? Who knew?
Yep.
No wine and yoga. What is happening? But when we do things differently, that's when we light up parts of our brain, the landscape in our brain where neurons have never met each other and have never gotten a chance to connect, start connecting. So this does something
Hmm.
very powerful. It builds new neural pathways. And I talk about this a lot, but why is this important, especially now? As we build new neural pathways, we give our brains landscape to travel away from the past, away from our fear triggers, and away from our fight or flight.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, what does that do then? In I guess in a nutshell, it calms you, no?
It calms you and it reduces the impact that fear, unknown, past triggers, anxiety. It reduces the power that has over you.
Yeah, I don't like the word calm. I like the word grounds you. That feels calm sometimes feels like there's pressure behind it, but, like, it grounds you, it centers you, all of that, and I think that's really powerful.
Yeah, grounding, centering, gaining control over your own mind is a really worthy pursuit in and of itself. Mindfulness, meditation, even getting adequate rest, turning off your screens at night
Mhm.
so that you can rest well, not feeding into that constant stream of social media and news to actually let your body calm down and return to homeostasis.
Yeah, and I wanna go a little deeper here. One of the things that happens for me, and maybe a lot of people when, something like this happens in the world is, an evaluation. And so what I mean by that is kind of thinking about and reflecting on your life and um, maybe shuffling your life cards and maybe um, seeing what's important, who's important, and like what truly matters.
Yeah, very much so. And, one of the things that I wanted to bring up today is this idea, this mirage that life is a straight path, a straight line, that the road isn't bumpy, and that if our life doesn't reflect that vision, there's something wrong with us, right?
Right.
And I was thinking about you, and I was thinking about the fact that you moved.
How bumpy my life's been.
Yeah, exactly. You
Right.
moved, had a
Had a
baby,
baby. Yeah.
and then this, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god." So, truly, for you to be saying this is the time to recenter, what a testament to you. How are you doing? What is going
Well,
on for you?
you know what? That's actually what's happening. Two things that make you evaluate your life, reflect, to recenter is death and birth, right? So if someone dies, like my dad died this year, and you just thinking about your life, you evaluate where you're at, what you want, what's important to you, who's important to you. And then I had a baby. So then so then with birth, you start thinking about, okay, now it's not just about me. How do I want to plan my future? Like all this stuff comes up. And then on top of that, the coronavirus hit, which then it's like I've just been doing nothing but evaluating my life and like if I want to shuffle some cards, where I want to be in 3 years, what's important to me, are the things that are important to me honest to me, like just all these big questions. And it's not so much making me feel stressed out, and there's no panic in doing anything about it. It just I think it's just great to be aware of it and know that there's an opportunity to kind of shuffle things around, and then as you come out of this, then you could put action behind that, and then your life can evolve and take a different path and all that. And I think all that is just it's flow, it's evolution, it's the unfolding.
Yeah, yeah, and I've had a little bit of a different response, and I think it's probably a lot to do with, the very different life circumstances that we have. I don't have kids.
Hmm. Right.
I'm not going to, and I run our company, and um, I spend a lot of time thinking about the world. And one of the things that I've wrestled with myself for the last, well, you know this, it's been years, has been visibility, and has been my relationship with using my voice. And when this happened, and especially when this happened and I have been so very sick through it, I became determined to start wielding my voice. And I
Oh, I
became
love that.
Yeah, I became determined to start showing up in the world more because I was seeing and experiencing a lack of leadership, and I was like, "Where the hell are all the leaders?" And, if you see something that needs to be built, build it your damn self, right? So I just kinda decided to come out swinging with hope and love, and it, um it has caused me to really get over myself in a major way.
Yeah, what I hear is you seeing a bad signal, you seeing a calling, you seeing something that is greater than you, and then you feeling a responsibility, especially as a leader yourself, to answer that call.
And it's hard, I'm not gonna
Of
lie.
course.
Like, when I was sitting there trying to write to our coaches and I was feeling like I was gonna pass out, I was digging deep to get those
Yeah.
words out,
Yeah.
but it's important to do that. And so, guys, if you're listening, this is a time for all of us to show up as leaders in our own way.
Right, right, absolutely. And it doesn't matter what your gifts are. Do what you feel comfortable doing. And so, whether you're writing a post or doing a video or maybe a podcast episode like this, anything you can, or maybe it's not public. Maybe it's a FaceTime call to your family. That's also being a leader too. I mean, you have to define what that looks like, but I think that's great. And I also think, Noel, it's very, me following your story and knowing you for so long. I've seen the evolution of you. So, starting with Noel hiding behind sunglasses in a photo to now just like audio, video, writing. It's amazing to see that.
Thank you. Thank you. It feels good, and it's also a little bit scary.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
scary to show up for others, and I was really thinking about why that is. And I think with modern life, as things are so commodified and we've moved away from true community where you know every single one of your neighbors and you go to the local butcher to get your meat at night, we're not asked to sacrifice on behalf of others that much.
Right.
This is probably one of the first times in most of our lifetimes where we all really freaking need to help each other.
Yeah, and I don't even know if the word is sacrifice, because in times like this, the human spirit comes out, and you could sense that as well, and it reminds us that we're such tribal creatures. And like I saw a video of people in Italy on their balcony singing together and
Mm.
stuff like that, and I was just like, it's how we are as humans, like the spirit of humans is coming out. And I think that's really beautiful, and what a great reminder. So I don't even think it's a sacrifice. I think people are just extending their hearts,
I hope peop
naturally.
yeah, I agree, and the extension of spirit is wonderful. I would love to see everybody take this further, into material goods. I was looking up, food pantries in West Philly
Hmm.
right before we hopped
Mm,
on because I'm seeing so many reports that food pantries are running out of food. My friends who are teachers are looking for laptops to give to kids. People are losing their jobs. All of the music venues that I go to are sending out emails to support the servers and
right.
bartenders. So it's times like this where if you have extra, give it.
Sure. Absolutely. I think so. And it's not. It could, because right now, it's very easy to hoard. It's very easy to, if you have extra toilet paper, to keep that for yourself. But the actual act of giving it is only going to stretch your heart, and it's only going to make you feel more empowered. It's going to feel like you're answering that bad signal as well, and that's a really good feeling. You're
Yeah.
being a leader.
Being a leader and using your special talents.
Hmm.
If you have a beautiful voice, open your window and sing. If you are a writer, craft some poetry. If you
Yeah.
happen to be really great at math, maybe you can help all those people who aren't do their taxes right now since our brains are broken.
Right.
It's
I love
whatever
that.
you can offer, do so.
I didn't even think about that, and I was like, "What a great idea." Taxes are coming up, we push it away. If you're great at math, help someone do their taxes in this time. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be our next T-shirt. Help.
Yeah. I wanna point out, and this is also something that I love, when Noah and I have conversations, how different our stories are, and how all of this is affecting me differently with what's going on in my personal life, and very differently for Noelle and what's going on in her personal life. And I wanna point that out because, there's no blanket, uh, you know, uh way that this is hitting people, and depending on your story and where you're at, it's going to hit you a different way. And so Noel and I are two examples of how differently, and how that this is hitting us, and that's okay. you know
Yeah, and there's no right or wrong way to do this. John
right.
needs to stay home and take care of that baby right now. I can
Yeah, I'm
go
changing diapers, and Noel's writing poetry. It's amazing.
Yeah, and, when I get better, I'll be out in the streets with a blowtorch. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
but, let me do that. You stay home with that baby. Like
Yes, yes. But you know what? Both of those are ways that we are answering the call. Both of those are ways that we are being leaders. And so, kind of to come back to what you were saying, and what a great reminder. Thank you for that. Now's the time, while we're going through this, for you to show up, um, to rise, and to be a leader in your specific way that you want to do that,
and do your friends' taxes.
and do your friends' taxes. That's the ultimate leadership, actually. Anyway, guys, stay safe, and practice self-care, all the things, but also make sure that you get your needs fulfilled as well as you're leading.
Yeah, you are loved. We love you.
Thank you. Be well.
Ready to cut through the BS of becoming a coach? Snag John and Noelle's 6-step guide to becoming a life coach at journey.co/everything. That's JRNI.co/everything. If what you've heard here today speaks to you and you want to learn a little bit more about becoming a coach, visit journey.co, JRNI.co. We've graduated nearly 1,000 coaches and offer vibrant community, strong lifetime support, and world-class coaching education. We're fully ICF accredited and look forward to watching how you use coaching to make a bigger impact in the world around you.